You're watching ABC 7 News at 7.
Being able to appoint people to our local board strips us of our local control, and it's time for the Manatee County residents and taxpayers to take that back.
State Representative Jim Boyd can't seek re-election because of term limits. It's down to Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt for House District 71. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have the House District 71 debate in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. Guess who's opposed to ending greyhound racing in Florida? The NRA. Among a long list of proposed constitutional amendments is a measure that would end greyhound racing at dog tracks by the end of 2020. The proposed ban, placed on the ballot by the Florida Constitution Revision Commission, has drawn bipartisan support, but the measure is opposed by the Florida Greyhound Association, which represents owners and breeders in the racing industry, and the NRA.
If you own a pet, if you drink milk, if you eat meat, if you eat fish, if you eat poultry, killing animals for human consumption is inhumane in the eyes of some people.
It is the right thing to do. It phases out an industry that is cruel and inhumane and is already illegal in 40 states. Dogs are dying 1 every 3 days. They're confined almost 24/7. This is the right thing to do for dogs.
Florida is one of only a handful of places where dog racing is still legal. With just a week to go before Election Day, more than 3 million voters have already cast ballots in Florida. According to new numbers, more than 1.26 million people have voted early so far. Additionally, more than 1.8 million people have voted by mail. Nearly 1.29 million GOP voters have cast ballots, compared to nearly 1.23 million Democrats. Nearly 526,000 voters with no party affiliation have also cast ballots. There are more than 13 million registered voters in Florida, so there is still plenty of time for those who still need to get out there and vote. 4 bicycle riders are in critical condition tonight after being hit by a car in Venice this morning. It happened around 8:30 at the intersection of Center Road and Rockley Boulevard. Troopers say the bicyclists were riding in the outer bike lane but were switching over to the left lane when they were hit. The driver of the car was a 92-year-old woman from Venice.
I ride, that's one of the things I will not ride in the bike lane. I will not ride on the street. I always ride on the sidewalk, and this is why.
3 of the bicyclists were airlifted and 1 was taken by ambulance. They are all in critical condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Venice fire crews are finishing up clearing the scene of a multiple boat fire at Venice Yacht Club. Firefighters called in around 1:40 this afternoon after 2 boats went up in flames. The boats were engulfed in flames. No one was on board at the time and no one was hurt. Fire officials say the cause is believed to be electrical, although the state fire marshal will investigate. Damage is estimated at around $1 million. Manatee County Area Transit will offer free bus service on Election Day next Tuesday. The offer includes the MCAT Route 99 buses that travel into Sarasota County. Handy Bus clients can ride free if traveling to or from a designated polling location. Also, Uber and Lyft are offering free and discounted rides to polling places as well. Now let's head over to ABC 7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the First Alert Forecast. Bob.
And we're looking at some great beach weather as of late with that east wind. If there's any red tide out there, most of it's getting carried off into the Gulf of Mexico. And there's not a lot of wave action, so the red tide effects are not being aerosolized and carried off toward the beachgoers. You see a lot of them out there enjoying the nice calm conditions for the most part, and no threat of any rainfall. Gorgeous sunset tonight under fair skies. A little bit of a haze in the atmosphere due to this high pressure ridge. 78 right now, and the dew point temperature at 58, which is comfortable. This number is going to come up a little higher tomorrow, and that will make this number go a little higher as well. It's at 50%, though. It's really quite nice out there. Very dry. East and northeast winds at 6, and the pressure 30.10. We're going to continue with those east winds tomorrow, and that will make for a warm and muggy Halloween. We'll have an east to southeast wind later in the day, and that will bring that humidity value up a little bit. No showers to worry about, though, for the trick-or-treaters on Wednesday, and we'll see some showers on Friday, though. Even the possibility of some thunderstorms as well. That chance for thunderstorms not as great as the potential for some showers, mainly in the afternoon and evening, and then a little bit cooler for the weekend. We'll get below average. We were above average today at 86 degrees, our normal high right around 82 degrees. Now, as far as your evening planner goes, looks to be really nice. So we'll have temperatures into the upper 60s, right around 70 degrees by 11 o'clock tonight under fair skies. And it looks like clear skies overnight as a result of this big area of high pressure, which continues to hold firm right now. Well, much more on that cold front and what it means for Friday's weather coming up in a few minutes. Alan?
Thanks, Bob. Tonight, our final debate before next week's election. While Republicans have dominated races for the State House and State Senate in the past, this year Democrats are contesting just about every race, including House District 71. It is an open seat and a battle between two well-known attorneys, Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt. We welcome you both to the trapezoid. You're each going to get a minute for opening statements, and Tracy, by the luck of a coin flip, you get to go first.
Thanks so much, Alan, and thanks, Will, for being here, and thanks to the viewers for turning in. This is exciting. I have to say I've never been on live television before, so I appreciate this. I'm a mom and I'm a local attorney, and my husband and I have been married for 15 years, and we have 2 kids, aged 10 and 12. And I've been involved in community service for a very long time, and so I decided to run to protect Florida's future for my children and for everyone else's. I think the environment is really the most important issue that we're addressing right now. We need to make sure that our water is healthy, that our health is protected, that our quality of life is protected. I also believe that we need to protect our public schools. We've taken $1 billion out of public schools and put them into private schools and for-profit charters. I want to end the epidemic of gun violence with common sense gun reform, and I believe everyone deserves access to affordable health care. So those are the reasons that I'm running.
All right, Tracy, thank you very much. Will?
Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Tracy, and to the viewers of ABC. My name is Will Robinson, and over the course of the campaign, I've been asked one question the most: why are you running? And for me, the answer is simple: to keep Florida moving forward. Because think back where we were as a state and a region 8 short years ago. Unemployment was double digits. Most people's homes were underwater. Our state debt was out of control. I never want to see us go back to those dark Florida days, because it's personal to me. I was born right up the road in Bradenton, just like my dad was. We were actually born in the very same hospital. My grandparents moved here in 1948 from Pikeville, Kentucky, to escape coal country. And they opened up a motel right on Tamiami Trail. And they came down here to realize the Florida dream. And that's what I want for everyone, to realize the Florida dream as we move Florida forward. Thank you all.
Okay, very good. We have to take a quick break, and when we come back, the candidates debate. So stick around.
Teachers inspire our children and promote a lifetime of learning. So ABC7 and Gettle Automotive want to honor these chalkboard champions by giving them the chance to win $500. But we need your help. Go to mysuncoast.com/chalkboardchampions to nominate an outstanding teacher who's really making a difference. And each month we'll deliver $500 to one teacher in Sarasota County and one teacher in Manatee County. Go to mysuncoast.com and nominate your chalkboard champion today.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Gettle Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gettle dealership. Buy with 0 down, make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Support the Hurricane Michael Relief and Disaster Fund by donating to the United Way of Northwest Florida today. Help communities rise and rebuild after the devastating mess left behind. Every donation makes a difference and is appreciated. Together, we are all Panhandle Strong.
Find out first at 4 with ABC7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC7.
Welcome back to the House 71 debate. We're joined by Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt. I'm going to start the debate this way, just like I did last night, because we're still reeling from what happened in Pittsburgh at a synagogue, 11 dead. And once again, the weapon of choice was an AR-15, the same weapon that was used at Parkland in Orlando, Las Vegas, Sandy Hook. We could go on and on. And Tracy, I'm asking candidates now, why are these weapons, these assault-style weapons, which large capacity magazines legal in the state of Florida, would you vote to make them illegal?
Oh, absolutely. I announced my candidacy at the March for Our Lives, and I came out and I said I want to see a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. I do not believe that these essentially weapons of mass destruction that can kill people in seconds need to be in the hands of civilians.
Well, first of all, my deepest thoughts and prayers with the victims. I read it. It's the greatest mass casualty anti-Semitic issue in our country's history. And I was actually watching the Nuremberg trials, History Channel episode a week ago. And it is shocking to me that we have issues of racism in our country like this. That has no place in our country. With regard to banning, I disagree with my opponent. I think we have to focus on other issues, mental health, for instance. Banning a gun is not going to solve the problem. And frankly, some folks use that gun for self-defense. And we had a federal ban. We had a federal semi-assault weapons ban for 10 years, and it was ruled to be ineffective. So I don't think it solves the problem. It takes away law-abiding citizens' rights, and it doesn't solve the true issue, which is mental health.
Let me ask this follow-up question, because we've put a lot of emphasis here in Florida after Parkland in terms of having a police officer at every school. We have SROs, we have guardians. We're still working community by community in terms of what works best here. But the question is, if you just look at what happened in Pittsburgh, there were 3 police officers on duty when that alleged killer, went in there armed with not only an AR-15, but with several other weapons, and it did not stop police officers. So is just having a police officer or somebody armed at a school sufficient enough?
Well, it's an above all strategy. Certainly that's one component. Well, I'm a proud graduate of Manatee High School, and those days were different back in 1993. We had open campus. So certainly making sure our campuses have one entrance, one exit is vitally important. Mental health funding, vitally important. We talk about that a lot in society after every one of these shootings, and it never gets done. I'm very pleased that the legislature finally appropriated money. I'd like to see it recurring, because it was only for last budget cycle. So it's an above strategy that we have lots of things we need to accomplish, including more security.
Tracy.
Well, I mean, I agree with Will that the mental health funding was needed. I mean, I think we have had a dearth of resources in mental health funding across the state, but the reality is we need to keep more than our schools safe. We need to make sure our movie theaters and our places of worship and our restaurants and our music venues are safe. I mean, it's becoming too routine that we're seeing these absolutely atrocious headlines, and I think it leads to one conclusion. We know that the majority of people in America support universal background checks. We know that we can close the gun show loophole so that we can register these guns. And of course, like I said, we need to ban the assault weapons and the high-capacity magazines. The truth is, we don't know whether or not that ban actually helped, because there hasn't been enough research on it, because that hasn't been funded. But we know experts have come out to say that these common sense gun reform safety provisions can reduce gun violence in our communities.
Okay, we have to take a quick break. Our debate for House District 71 continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Beautiful sunset tonight. Once again, clear skies, and apropos with the color here too, orange in honor of Halloween. You can see that sky lit up right there. Calm conditions out on the waters too. Beautiful evening with low humidity. That's what I really like, and we've seen that over the past couple of days. It's going to come back, unfortunately, a little bit tomorrow and Thursday as our winds shift more to a southeasterly direction. Norm getting this one from the Bayfront, Sarasota. Beautiful shot right there. You can see some of the flowers in bloom there, and the Venice Jetty. Guy getting this. You can see a sailboat off in the distance just prior to sunset. And sunset's going to change a little bit. It's going to be a little earlier, an hour earlier Sunday, and you'll notice that difference. It gets darker earlier. We have a fallback of 1 hour that hasn't changed yet. We're waiting for that change, but again, always a good way to remember it. Fall back during the fall and spring forward during the spring, unless things change in terms of changing that law altogether. Our winds will be out of the east tomorrow. Pretty good for red tide sufferers. If you're going to the beaches, if there's any impacts of red tide, it'll be blowing offshore for the most part. And that's going to change a little bit. On Friday, it'll become more out of the southwest, and that'll bring it onshore, and then northwest on Saturday, which too will bring it onshore. Now that wind will pick up too, so boaters beware. We'll have a 15-knot wind more than likely Thursday and Friday, with seas building up to 2 to 4 feet and a moderate chop. You'll see those winds picking up out of the west and southwest on into Thursday. But for trick-or-treaters tomorrow, looks good. The weather, we'll even have a half-moon sky, so that'll keep things a little bit on the brighter side. We'll start off right around the 6 o'clock hour at 80 degrees, and at 9 around 76 degrees, and no rain in sight for Wednesday or most of Thursday. There's going to be a front approaching. Now this high pressure ridge, which has been dominating the weather over the southeast, will get bumped off into the Atlantic, it looks like, over the upcoming days as a cold front approaches. Now this front is going to bring us a good chance for some showers and some storms. Once this dry air gets out of here in the upper levels of the atmosphere, things will start to moisten up a bit, especially by Friday, and that'll be our best chance for rainfall come late Friday and into even early Saturday morning. But tomorrow, no mention of rain. Temperatures will be above average. We'll have high temperatures in the mid-80s. Some areas will get up into 86, 87 degrees. And as far as the tropics go, well, this is Oscar. Oscar's going to head off into the open waters as high pressure moves off to the east. That's that large area that you see right there. Here comes the front, and it will produce some showers and storms for the Panhandle on Thursday. And then for us, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, there's even a slight chance for a few isolated thunderstorms in this one. And then the front gets hung up to our south, and then eventually works its way back northward as a warm front on Sunday afternoon. So it'll be another chance for some showers on Sunday. We're in this progressive pattern right now. We're going to see periods of showers and fronts coming down every 3-4 days or so. Well, out in the tropics, this system's still pretty well organized. Top winds down now to Category 1 strength, and it's going to head off to the north and northeast. The only problem may be for land is Bermuda may see a little high surf over the next 24 to 48 hours. For boaters, no high surf tomorrow. Light chop on the bays and inland waters, a light chop out there, and seas running right around 2 feet or less. Here's the forecast then. Good for Halloween. Thursday, increasing cloudiness, high temperature still warm. Here comes the transition day. Clouds move in, a good chance for showers, a few isolated storms, a little bit of a morning shower activity possible on Saturday, and then Sunday, a little afternoon activity. Voting day, election day, there's a chance for a few scattered storms. Alan will be back with his guest right after this. Stick around.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure, I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
Mascara adds depth to the eyes. Lipstick gives the mouth color and definition. And ALS paralyzes the body.
You look great, Mom. Thank you.
Slowly taking away the ability to move and eventually breathe.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Welcome back to the House 71 debate. We are joined by Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt. And we were talking about the governor's race when we were in commercial. I want to talk about their education plans because they both have radically different ideas in terms of how to improve education in Florida. Mayor Gillum wants to raise corporate taxes so teachers could get an increase in salary to $50,000. Mr. DeSantis wants to look for efficiencies and expand the voucher program in Florida. One of you two are going to be in the legislature in dealing with this. Well, let's take a look at Mayor Gillum's plan and what, in your opinion, is wrong with it.
Well, it moves Florida backwards. It doesn't move us forward. $1 billion tax increase, increasing our corporate tax rate equal to New York State. That's just not going to be good for job creators. They're going to flee the state. They're going to go to Texas with those jobs. I think it's a terrible idea. I like DeSantis' approach, which is to get more money into the classroom, which is where it belongs. So I like his approach to make sure we don't fund administration and we get the money into the classroom.
Tracy, that is what a lot of Republicans are saying, that nothing good could come of a corporate tax increase like that, especially after we've worked so hard for so long in terms of restoring the economy here in Florida. So what do you say?
Well, I think we can't have failing public schools. I mean, we just cannot. And the truth is if we're going to attract good companies to our state, we have to have good, solid public schools. And we've taken, like I said before, $1 billion out of our public schools. We've put it into for-profit charter schools. We've put it into private school education that is not accountable to the taxpayer. I believe that our tax dollars should be going into schools that are accountable to us. I think we should have competitive salaries for teachers and for school personnel. I've been endorsed by the Manatee Teachers Association, and I'm really proud of that. I believe in a public school education. I think it's the bedrock of our society.
Let's ask you about the flip side. Congressman DeSantis' idea is to expand the voucher program. So if kids are going to failing schools, they have an option that they might not be able to afford on their own in terms of seeking a private school education. What's wrong with that?
Well, these schools shouldn't be failing to begin with. The truth is we should be putting the money back into it so it doesn't happen. And you know, I've been knocking on doors and I have met families with special needs kids who the public school isn't offering their kid what they need, and so they take a voucher and they go to a private school and they have to pay the difference. And these are hardworking, you know, lower income family members. You know, I've talked to other people who are concerned because they think their school is failing. They see the resources going into a local religious school that's not their faith. And they say, boy, I want my kid to have a better education, but do I have to swear to a faith that doesn't abide with my beliefs. And so I think these are real problems for Florida families, and I think the solution is to put resources back into our public schools.
Well, the merits of increasing the voucher program and the criticism that it's taking money away from public education.
Well, I don't want Florida to go back. When I went to Manatee High School, I call it the zip code days. You had to go to school where your zip code was. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair if you're in a failing area of town that you are predestined to have to go to that school. I want to put power back into parents and children, not administrators, not Tallahassee bureaucrats. So I think we've made some great progress. Should there be more transparency? Absolutely, absolutely. I would be in total favor of more transparency for these other education options. But I don't want us to go back on. I want us to keep going forward.
All right, we have to take another quick break. We are just getting warmed up on our debate for House District 71. It will continue right after this.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Give today at force.uso.org.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
We believe in patriotism. We believe in our nation's youth. We believe veterans earn their benefits through their service to our nation. We believe in a strong national security. We believe in our country. For 100 years, veterans have been impacting our nation through the American Legion, and we believe it makes a difference. If you believe, learn more at legion.org/webelieve.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Find out first at 4 with ABC7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC7. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back to the House 71 debate. We are joined by Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt. As we all know, with the elevation of Justice Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court, the balance has shifted there, and it does open the possibility that should a case come up through the legal system, that the Supreme Court could theoretically overturn Roe versus Wade and leave it to every individual state to make its own law in terms of whether or not abortion rights are legal or not legal. One of you might be put into that position in the Florida legislature. So, Will, starting with you, if that came up in terms of continuing to keep abortion legal in Florida or not, how would you vote?
Well, I'm a pro-life candidate, and I'll be a pro-life legislator. Both Kavanaugh and Gorsuch have said Roe is settled law. And also in our state constitution, there's a privacy right. So we have some additional layers in our state constitution that others would not have. I'll address certain bills regarding this topic when they come in front of me. But I think it's settled law, and I think at least 2 Supreme Court justices have said so.
Tracy?
Well, I am definitely a pro-choice candidate. I just don't believe anybody should have a right to determine decisions made between myself or any woman and a healthcare provider. I think that's a private decision. And I believe that women should have access to reproductive health care. It's something that I will fight for. I've been endorsed by the Planned Parenthood PAC, and I will tell you, I went 10 years without health insurance, and Planned Parenthood provided me with the primary care that I needed. And so I will staunchly make sure that women have access to reproductive health care, and that a right to make a choice, a decision, is ours and doesn't belong to the government.
Okay. You brought up the issue of health care. One of the public health issues that has really been at the center of the Florida legislature is whether or not to expand Medicaid under the provisions of the Affordable Care Act. Florida has not done so, and there's been a lot of criticism by Republicans in terms of spending that kind of money. What would you, if you were in the Florida legislature, vote to accept the federal money to expand Medicaid?
Absolutely. I'm married to a family doctor who's worked in community health for decades now, and we know that we can do better. We are the richest country in the history of the world, and yet our citizens don't have health care. Taking that Medicaid expansion will give 800,000 Floridians access to health care that they don't have right now, and that is money that we have paid into the federal government already. I don't think that hoping and praying they're eventually going to get a good job so that they can have private insurance is a good enough solution to those who today are living without health care.
No, I think it's important. I think it's important that we, first of all, not accept the Medicaid expansion, because I want to keep us moving forward, our economy moving forward, creating jobs, getting people off government insurance and on private insurance. And we don't know how much the federal government's going to match. It could be 90%, 95%, 85%. That could cost the taxpayer billions of dollars. I'd be curious to know where that money's going to come from. So it's going to cost our taxpayer something. I want to get folks off Medicaid, get them great private insurance, get them quality, affordable access to health care, and not increase a federal entitlement.
Let me ask you about that private insurance that you're talking about there, and this came up in the congressional debate that we had last week. For people who are lucky enough to have private employer-based insurance, premiums and out-of-pocket costs continue to go up. So the question is, well, how do you bring down the cost of health care, because private insurance through your employer is actually getting more expensive to more and more middle-income families.
No doubt about it. I mean, Obamacare has been a failure. Right now,
I'm not talking about Obamacare, I'm talking about private insurance.
Well, right now, because of Obamacare, 47 of our 67 counties in Florida have one health care provider. There is no competition. And I am all in favor, one of the things that I would like to see in our legislature and pass is transparency. Transparency in prescription drugs. Transparency in how much health care costs. When you go to the hospital or you go to the doctor's office, does anyone really know how much a specific health care option costs? I think transparency would help lower costs for private insurance. But right now we have no options out there. That's what's killing the market. There are no private health care options for consumers right now.
Tracy?
Well, I disagree. I think the Affordable Care Act brought insurance, it brought health care to a lot of people who didn't have it. And like I said, as somebody who lived without health care, I know what an urgent situation that can be. And I meet people all the time knocking on doors who have lost their health insurance, or people who tell me that if we had the Medicaid expansion, that it would be accessible to them in this community. You know, like I said, my husband taught community health at Tulane University. We know we can do better, and we know that it will cost less money. The truth is that people who don't have health insurance, they go to the emergency room and they get substandard treatment because there's no follow-up, there's no preventive care, and that costs taxpayer dollars, and it costs lives, and it costs health. The reality is we need to be able to provide our citizens with health care.
I know both of you talk about a lot of different issues on the campaign trail, but I'm going to ask you a question I've been asking a lot of the candidates. Tracy, if there was one issue that you would go to Tallahassee, a bill that you would sponsor, an issue you care about more than any others that you want voters to know about, what would that be?
It is the environment. The environment is my #1 priority. My children are 5th generation Manatee County residents, and I want to make sure that we have a healthy environment, clean water, clean air, that we have resiliency against sea level rise and climate change for my children's grandchildren and their grandchildren. So that is my #1 priority, Alan.
Well,
a focus on workforce development in our trade colleges and technical colleges. We have award-winning technical colleges in our area. I've toured probably 200 small businesses in Bradenton and Sarasota, and all the employers say the same thing. We can't find good quality educated workers to fill job slots. And we have great institutions right here, but I don't think we're focusing on trade schools. I don't think we're funding trade schools, and I think we can do a much better job at the state level doing that.
Okay. One other issue that we want to get to in this segment, and that is red tide. It has devastated the Suncoast from down south to Manatee County, even up to Pinellas County. There's been a lot of talk, Will, in terms of maybe adding money to Mote Marine so they could investigate and research the causes. We know it's a naturally occurring phenomenon, but there is increased suspicion that what we're doing, nutrients getting into the water system, is exacerbating it. Aside from what we have heard about in the news in terms of just giving more money to Mote Marine for research, what would you do?
Well, you used the right word, devastating. It's been devastating. I've toured Cortez and talked to fishermen. I've been on Anna Maria Island talking to hotel owners and residents. It's been absolutely devastating. I remember a terrible red tide incident we had in 2005. So just because it's naturally occurring is not an excuse to me. And funding is one piece, but it's not only funding. I've talked about punishing those polluters and putting maybe some teeth in some regulations, and maybe the fines for those polluters can go to that funding. And frankly, what can we do as individuals? I was giving a speech overlooking Bird Key, and that was a subdivision developed before drainage requirements. What can we do individually as homeowners to make sure our carbon footprint or our green footprint, and we're doing the best thing possible? So I think we can do better education from a state level to make sure people know what they can and shouldn't do to help our environment. So we all take responsibility.
Tracy, same question to you.
Well, I think there's certainly a lot more that we can be doing. I mean, in the last 8 years under Governor Scott, we have deeply deregulated our environmental standards. And, you know, what we're seeing is a lot more than nutrient, the toxic runoff through the septic tanks and through fertilizers and also through corporate polluters. And so I think we need to address that issue. The Republicans, I think, have been really backed away from regulations, but the truth is we can't punish the polluters unless we have those regulations in place. I think we should also reinstate the harmful toxic algae task force, which is science-based monitoring and notification. And also, I think we really could become a gem of scientific inquiry right here. We have Mote Marine already, yet USF has their scientists in trailers behind the facility. So I think we could build a facility, we could make this a gem of the coast on scientific research.
I want to ask a follow-up question to Will, because you know, from the president and the Trump administration and the Congress right on down, we're talking about eliminating a lot of the regulations here. So assuming that the Republicans retain control of the floor of the House, do you think you could get your Republican colleagues to add additional regulations to environmental laws to crack down on companies that are polluting?
Well, the great thing about leadership is you have to show your colleagues that this is important. This is an issue that's not only impacting the West Coast. I've talked to some of my potential colleagues up in Pinellas and down in Fort Myers, and it's even hitting the East Coast. So it's about showing leadership with your colleagues. You're right, there's 120 House members, so you have to find folks that support you. So I think this is something that is impacting a lot of Floridians all around the state. So it just requires me to show good leadership with my colleagues that it's an important issue, not only for Braden and Sarasota, but also for Vero Beach and Miami.
And Tracy, the question to you is that adding regulations may be a tough go if the floor of the House continues to be in Republican hands. So you may say you want to see additional regulations. How would you necessarily get it through unless there are people like Will who are willing to look at that?
Well, again, I think it does take leadership and working across the aisle. You know, I believe it's important to have a lot of different viewpoints. I've been knocking on doors of Republicans and third-party individuals. I've been hosting town halls and inviting everyone in the community to come out and talk about these issues so that we can bring a variety of ideas. And as an attorney, of course, I have to work across the aisle, and I'm diplomatic because I think that's tremendously important to actually get work done. But I would like to point out, in the past, Will, you've said that you weren't willing to regulate big polluters. So I really hope that you have changed your mind on that. You know, I have chosen not to take any contributions from corporate polluters, and I know that you have taken maximum donations from Big Sugar, which we see are contributing to the algae levels in Lake Okeechobee.
Well, I don't know what statement you're referring to, but Alan, my first check in this campaign was from a Democrat. And I got some heat on the right from taking a check from a Democrat. Frankly, two of members of Tracy's family have given me a check. And I said to them and the Democrat and anyone who gives me a check the same thing. You're endorsing me and my philosophies of moving Florida forward and making sure our community is put first, not the other way around.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for the last round of questions coming up. Stay with us.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Civics on sale is now. During our model year-end sale, try new Civics for just $169 a month. You made Civic the best-selling compact car in America. And now get Civic, a KBB.com's best buy of the year for less than the competition. New Civics just $169 a month. Your last chance for Civics, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
Enjoy fine wine and great foods, all while supporting a great cause. It's the 17th annual Suncoast Food and Wine Fest, happening Saturday, November 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch. Taste hundreds of wines from around the world and sample great food from the area's finest restaurants. All proceeds go to local charities and Rotary projects. For tickets and information, visit suncoastfoodandwinefest.com.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to the House 71 debate. We are joined by Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt. One other issue I wanted to get to, because obviously voters in Florida have voted to make medical marijuana legal in Florida. But there's already discussion about whether or not it should be legal for recreational use. There are other states that are doing that right now. Tracy, would you be supportive of that or not?
Well, first of all, I think Floridians made the right decision when they voted for medical marijuana. I think the legislature has been dragging its heels on giving people access, particularly veterans who are suffering from PTSD. They come and talk to me, and this is a real issue for them. I believe that the state should absolutely decriminalize marijuana. Right now, 40 to 45% of our inmates are in there for nonviolent drug offenses. And I think we need to stop incarcerating people for marijuana use. As far as recreational use goes, I think like medical marijuana, we should take that as a referendum to the people.
Will?
I first want us to focus on medical marijuana. I think I agree with Tracy that we need to be doing a better job of implementing that. I've heard a lot about that from voters. They want to have it fully implemented. The voters voted on it, so let's do it. I'm not there with recreational. I don't believe we need it. Frankly, both of our sheriffs in District 71 are opposed to it. I've been endorsed by both of our sheriffs. So to me, I don't believe we need recreational marijuana. I want to focus on the medical marijuana first.
While we have time here, I want to ask you one last question in terms of the political climate that we are living in right now. People are frankly scared, and they're wondering where this is going to go. You know, Tallahassee is a tough place up there, Will. Are you concerned about the way that Democrats and Republicans are debating the issues right now and each other and the impact it's having on our society and community?
Well, I think we have an obligation to tone the temperature down a bit. I think we've had a very civil debate tonight. I think there's nothing wrong with a good debate on issues. It's when you start getting personal and attacking someone else, that's a problem.
Tracy?
I have to say I agree. And I feel, I've been out knocking on doors, and like I said, I talked to Republicans, I talked to independents, I talked to Democrats, and I feel like it has been an obligation to try and bring people together. There has been so much division in the last couple of years, and I know that people are ready to come back to Thanksgiving dinner tables and back to the water cooler at work and feel like we have a better sense of community. So I think it's really important, you know, for people to have integrity and remember that we are all Americans and on the same team.
Very good. We'll have closing statements by the candidates in a moment, but first, right now, let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Good evening, everyone. The sun has set. This is prior to it. This is from Dennis Kovach in Palmetto. A nice shot over there over the bay and Manatee River. Warm and muggy Halloween expected, but no rain. That's good. Showers, though, are in store for us for Friday. There's a chance, even a chance for some scattered thunderstorms on Friday. And a cooler weekend just for a brief period of time, though, as this front that's going to cool us off will work its way back northward as a warm front as early as Sunday afternoon. Well, the dew point temperatures are what we look at. That gives you the idea how comfortable things can be. And it was low all day today in the 50s, and that's fairly typical for winter months. 52 now in Orlando, 58 in Sarasota. These numbers are going to come up tomorrow. By this time tomorrow, those will be into the mid to upper 60s, which will make it feel a little bit muggier, more muggier outside. Well, look at all the clear skies covering much of the southeast United States. No rainfall around, and it will stay that way through the overnight tonight and tomorrow. And as far as that water vapor content, which looks at the upper levels of the atmosphere to see if any storms were to develop, how much rain would fall. And not much, although that dry air is starting to sink southward. There's still some out in the Gulf of Mexico, which will be in place. Now, this is the center of the high pressure ridge. Watch this as we put the map into motion. It shifts off to the east as this front is pushing in that direction. As that happens, the high pressure kind of breaks down a little bit. There'll be a slight chance for an evening shower on Thursday, but not much. And then better chances for rain come on into Friday. As you see that rain kind of moving in occasionally, even into Saturday morning, we could still see a few showers move on through. By Saturday, I think, by say 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, things will be okay. We'll have partly cloudy skies and slightly cooler temperatures. But early as Sunday, that front comes back northward as a warm front with another storm moving through. And I know you talked about, Alan, and want to know what the weather Tuesday for the state of Florida. This would be indicative of just some scattered showers over the panhandle to start the day off on Tuesday. Not much rain for us. And then as we move through time, maybe the rain increasing after 7 over the panhandle. So that is where the area of concern would be. But for us, we're just going to see some scattered showers, looks like, with the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm or two. And then that front makes its way through during the Wednesday morning hours. Well, in the tropics, we still have a month and a day to go before the official end of the hurricane season. We've had a pretty active season, 15 named storms, and this one is Oscar. Let's hope that's the last one. It moves off to the north and the northeast. Next name up is Patty. And sometimes we do get storms in November, but usually not very often. There's the forecast path and track, taking it off and eventually becoming extratropical. Could cause some problems, maybe up near Ireland, some big surf up there and some heavy rainfall also into England down the road in about 5 days from now. Currently, we have 78 degrees. It's fair out there. We are looking at an east-northeast wind at 6, and the high today did manage to get to 86 degrees. That is well above the average, which is 82. 91, the record set in 2009. And the low this morning was pretty close to typical. Well, the storm system is emerging out of the central Rockies right now. You can see it kind of riding the ridge for the most part, this high pressure ridge blocking everything, but it will wear it down. That high pressure will give way and things will change. You can see that cold air starting to filter into Denver, 33 there currently, 49 in Minneapolis. It's 55 degrees now in Detroit. Highs tomorrow will be into the 40s and 50s over the northern and central Rockies, into the 70s over the northeast, and Boston, the cooler reading at 56. Now, for forecast for boaters tomorrow, looks like this. Winds will be out of the east at 10 knots. There'll be a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast calling for nice weather on Wednesday, Halloween, and Thursday looking pretty good as well. 70% chance for some showers, mainly on Friday and specifically in the afternoon and evening. Slight chance for a morning shower on Saturday, but still the weekend looking pretty good. And we gain an extra hour over the weekend, too, before you go to bed on Saturday. Set it back 1 hour. Alan will be back right after this.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Pets bring so much joy to our lives. They're loyal, they're protective, and smart. Yet as smart as our pets might be, they can't advocate for themselves, especially in the event of a natural disaster. During Hurricane Harvey, many families were separated from their pets. That's why it's important your pet is part of your family's disaster preparedness plan. Talk to your veterinarian and visit banfieldfoundation.org/disaster. Don't save it for a rainy day.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Support the Hurricane Michael Relief and Disaster Fund by donating to the United Way of Northwest Florida today. Help communities rise and rebuild after the devastating mess left behind. Every donation makes a difference and is appreciated. Together, we are all Panhandle strong.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
Welcome back. It's already time for closing statements, and Will, we're going to start with you.
Thank you, and thank you, Tracy, for a great and spirited debate, and thank you to the viewers. I started off tonight talking about why I was running, and that was to keep Florida moving forward. And we have two stark, different visions for Florida. My opponent's vision, which is more taxes, more increased regulation, more government control of your health care, that's going to move Florida backwards. I want to keep Florida moving forward, whether it's in workforce development, or stopping the opioid epidemic, or allowing you as the taxpayer to have more control over your money, your hard-earned money, than government. We have a critical election coming up in a couple days, and I humbly ask for your vote. May God bless you and your families.
Tracy.
Once again, I'm Tracy Pratt, and I am so excited that we are going to be making a decision in this community in just 1 week. I believe that you deserve good public schools, access to health care, clean water, clean air, resilient beaches. And I believe that everyone deserves to be safe from gun violence in their communities. I would be very honored to have your vote.
All right. Well, we want to thank you both, and we want to wish you both the best of luck and safe trails on the campaign trail in the final week of this campaign. It's very exciting. You both did terrific. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to thank both candidates, Republican Will Robinson and Democrat Tracy Pratt, and that is all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, and please don't forget to vote.
Exactly.